Hi, I'm Amy Jackson, Director of the Perch, and today I want to talk to you about disappointment and the best way you can actually avoid disappointment. As we approach the holiday season, I know a lot of us are already dreading the holidays. We're already dreading our lack of being able to do our normal things, our normal holiday traditions, our normal gatherings at church. And I get it. I feel like I've been preemptively grieving, just thinking about all the things that I won't be able to do, or I won't be able to do in the same way. And so I want to talk to you about a really simple to understand, but difficult to practice, adjusting your expectations. Oh, this is so hard, right? Especially in the holiday season, because we have such grand expectations, both for our kids and our families and ourselves. We want the best. We want everything to be magical, right? Here's the thing. When we expect way too much, way beyond what's actually reasonable in reality, we are utterly disappointed. We are utterly disappointed when our reality is different. On the other hand, if we expect much less, a much more reasonable amount, we'll be pleasantly surprised when things go well or it goes actually beyond our expectations. This sounds so simple, but it's something that I talk about with one of my friends all the time, how we go into the day with expectations, maybe even expectations we didn't realize that we had, and we get to the end of the day and we find ourselves completely disappointed because we didn't get that thing done, we didn't get to work on the thing that we'd hoped to work on, and we find ourselves completely disappointed. On the other hand, if we go into a day without those expectations or very minimal expectations, like I just want to send that one email, then we're pleasantly surprised when we do 6 things on our to-do list that we didn't think that we would get to. Okay, so how do we actually do this in a way that helps us this holiday season? So when you're thinking about your to-do list, we need to be really real about what we can actually accomplish. I, for one, want to plan out every single minute of my shopping trip or of my errands run. And the reality is it's busy right now. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot more people. And so we need to lower our expectations and adjust them to actually fit the reality of our season and the situation. So what can we actually accomplish versus what we want to accomplish? We also need to apply this to our kids' behavior. I mean, what's really something that we can expect from our kids? What level of behavior can we expect from them in this season? I know for us, this has been an incredibly difficult week, trying to get through our last week of virtual school before the 2-week break. And so to go in with high expectations of everything being like a normal week is just not realistic. And in fact, that is what I did on Monday and was highly disappointed. So I can tell you for one, what not to do. And then I also think we need to think about it when we think about the magic of the holidays. Of course, we want our holidays to be magical and wonderful and lovely, just like they are every year. But number one, this is a pandemic. Life is different this year. Secondly, how often are our holidays actually as magical as we think they will be in our heads? How magical we expect them to be? Inevitably, someone doesn't like the present that we got them. Inevitably, the casserole doesn't turn out the way that it was supposed to, or, the turkey gets charred, or who knows what else. Something inevitably usually goes wrong. Even if it's minor, it's just not necessarily what this dream-like Hallmark Channel movie that we thought it might be. And that's because Hallmark movies aren't real. That's why we watch them, because they're a lovely distraction from real life, right? And so to really think about what's realistic and what can be actually expected during the holiday season during a pandemic, so we can have more realistic expectations. So a couple of examples. Maybe you're thinking, you're kind of bummed that you can't have your traditional holiday meal. That was me, actually. I started thinking about earlier this week. Normally we are at our extended families and all of the cooking is done for us, and it's a really, it's the same meal we have every single year. And I just started thinking about man, this is really a bummer that we won't be able to have our traditional Christmas meal. But then I kind of flipped it around and started thinking, okay, so it's just going to be us. It's just going to be my little family in our house. So what do I want to make? And at first I started thinking of all the like traditional dishes that you're supposed to make, right? Like that's another really harsh thing when we think about expectations, the things that we think we're supposed to do or supposed to enjoy, all the shoulds, right? And we need to get those out of our vocabulary. And so I started thinking about like a pot roast or a turkey or something traditional. And I started thinking, there's no way my kids are going to eat that. And then it's just going to be leftovers for weeks for me and my husband. And so I started thinking about, what is something that we all enjoy? What's a meal that we all really look forward to? And I'm not saying this is yours. I'm absolutely saying it's my family's. We love seafood. We love fish. One of our regular stops every week at in the summer is the farmers market here in Aurora, Illinois. And we go to E&S Fish Market and we get fish and we enjoy it every single Saturday. It's one of our traditions. It's one of our family day kind of tradition things that we do all summer long. And so guess what I'm going to do for our Christmas Day meal? I'm going to go get fish from E&S Market and we're going to have a ball. We're going to enjoy it. And I know for one that everyone is going to eat it and everyone's going to enjoy it, which when you're the cook in your house is, oh man, it's the best. So, maybe you can't have your regular holiday meal. That is disappointing. That is sad. And that is something to grieve. And rather than try to make a mishmash of like whatever you think you're supposed to have, maybe do something different this year and enjoy that and lean into that. Okay, maybe you can't buy as many presents as you normally do. A lot of us have been hit hard financially this year, and just financially, Christmas looks different. Let's focus on being present rather than all of the presents. One great way to do that is, whatever you bought your kids, be very present and play with them with that new toy or, puzzle or whatever you got them. That's going to mean so much. So remember, just lower your expectations, adjust them to a realistic level, and make it a special day of presence and being together. So here's the thing, even when we do this, even when we adjust our expectations to be much more realistic, we might still be disappointed. And the thing is that disappointment is a really hard feeling. It's so goopy and messy and icky, and it involves other people and our hopes and our dreams. And so disappointment is a really hard feeling for a lot of us to grapple with, and that's okay. And there's no foolproof way to make it so that you won't experience any disappointment this holiday season. In fact, I think we are all going to experience some grief and disappointment because it just simply won't be a normal holiday season for any of us. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to allow yourself to feel that disappointment, allow yourself to name that disappointment, and then find something that you can be grateful for right there, right in that moment, however small it might be. Find something to be grateful for. It doesn't cancel out the grief. It doesn't cancel out the disappointment. But I think that we need to be able to hold them both at the same time. And a great step to being able to do that is to adjust our expectations so that they are more realistic and we aren't constantly shooting ourselves in the foot. So good luck to you this holiday season. Blessings on you as you adjust in this new reality.